Well, buongiorno everybody. It's a new day. It's bright and sunny out today, so it makes me really happy. So I'm not making soup today because I made that yesterday. Anyway, today I'm going to share with you something I always made kind of often with my kids growing up. I was never ever a big fan of meatloaf growing up. Just a plain old beef meatloaf in red sauce just never did it for me for some reason. But as I started doing things myself and needing to make quantities of things for the 8 of us and the 6 guys in the house, I made a turkey meatloaf one time, and oh my goodness, it came out so good because I had, I treated it kind of like an Italian meatball, but I used turkey. So now I can do it with any kind of meat, but it was really good. And then I used to, of course, what's the best way to hide all kind of other stuff? Or now as an adult, you don't need to hide it, you're just adding to it. But for the kids, you're hiding all kind of goodies in there. Call it a rainbow meatloaf, call it whatever, but it works. And I got lots of veggies in all my people. So basically, I'm putting a whole bunch of stuff in this today. So I have 2 pounds. Now today I don't have turkey, today I have chicken. Because they were actually out of the organic ground, so I like the organic stuff, they were out of the organic ground turkey when I went last, so I got the organic ground chicken. Same thing, this actually comes out a little moister, but I add so much stuff to it that it actually doesn't really make much of a difference the way I make it. So I have 2 pounds of ground chicken. This is a great thing, it smells so good when it's cooking, everybody wants to come to the table. That's the whole point here. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I just grated over my little cups here. Let me make sure this is all off. I just grated some zucchini and some carrots. Actually, I had 2 colored carrots. I got a yellow carrot and an orange carrot. So it's really going to be rainbowy. So I'm going to just throw all this stuff in here. So that's a good heavy cup, probably more than a cup. And same thing here. But you can put in as much or as little as you'd like. Look how pretty bright yellow these carrots are. It was just 2 carrots. I made a lot of shred. Really quick here before I continue, I was going to do this first. Yeah. I'm going to quickly saute up the onions. I have a really pretty red onion, so again, that's going to be, so I'm just going to dice this real quick. Now, you can put the onions in raw, but that's the one place where I don't like personally. If you like the crunch of a piece of not fully cooked, because when you cook this in a burger or when you cook it in a meatloaf or something, it doesn't cook all the way, it doesn't get really soft. I like the sweetness that comes out of it, and I like the texture better. So it's purely up to you. So what I'm going to do is, while we're mixing all the rest of this together, I'm just going to soften these a little in a little mini pan I've got here. Okay, so I'm going to put them in here with some oil. And just let them, there we go. Let them start to soften up a little bit. Boop, there we go. Okay. So now, what are the other goodies we're going to put in here? Well, we're going to put in some garlic. Now, this is a funny thing because, kids don't like leaves. If you've got kids, maybe you want to leave or chop this really fine. The parsley. I mean, there's other green stuff. There's zucchini, but most of the kids I find like the zucchini. But I'm going to chop up some fresh parsley. Parsley adds just such a nice fresh, it's a fresh flavor, It's not like cilantro. I'm honestly not a huge fan of cilantro. It has it has a much stronger flavor. I wish I could make I have some stuff to make candles with. Wouldn't a parsley candle? Oh my God, I bet that would smell so good. I think I've seen a basil one before. So we're just gonna, I know I'm being goofy. But anyway, let's get a couple, get 2 nice cloves of garlic here. Oops, did I fling? I flung it. I flung it. That was a little teeny one. So I got 2 1/4. cloves of garlic, because I had one that was like one of those flat ones. Now you can, and it's especially a lot of times when I'm doing something like this where I want it to really permeate everything, I'll use my garlic press. I mean, unless you feel like sitting here chopping it like I'm doing now. Really fine though, because you don't want chunks of garlic. But sometimes I just enjoy, you know, me. Embrace the stir, savor the chop, embrace the chop, you know. Now, if you want, you can also like stick this in with the onions there and let them soften up a smidgen. Don't do it too soon because you don't want them to get burnt. And maybe I will do that. I'll throw these in with the onion because they're already softening. Throw that in with the onion. Let that flavor the oil. I'm going to put some of that in here and let it all just meld together. Okay, I have 2 pounds. My go-to thing is 1 egg per pound of whatever I'm using. And I didn't get a bowl out. I'm just going to risk it here. Okay, no shell. Perfect crack. Thank you very much. And another one. There we go. Now, in here you can put whatever you want now. You know, a little bit of black pepper. I'm only going to put a little bit of salt because I've got some important ingredients. So the other day I made a lot of breadcrumbs, so I had these in the freezer. I've got my grated Parmesan. Actually, this is Romano. So that's my favorite. So this is all how you want to do it. I would say at least the equivalent of approximately, I don't know, 1/2 to 3/4 cup of cheese. But you really can't have too much of that. And then we're going to put in a good big handful or 2 or 3 of my homemade breadcrumbs. Some of those are whole wheat and some of them are white Italian bread. Okay, I'm going to turn this off because hold on. These little cast iron pans get hot. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and throw this in completely as it is. So I've got my sauteed onions and garlic. I left the garlic kind of on top so it just softened a little. Just mellowed it out. So this is kind of my little trick. In a lot of things that I make, I'll saute the onions first. Because I feel like it just pulls some of the flavor out before it just gets cooked in. Like when I make my stuffed zucchini. All right, since those onions are hot, I'm just going to stir this in a little so I don't get my hands on that hot stuff. Okay, and then other options, you can put in a little Worcestershire sauce. Now, if you can find it, Leah & Perrins makes that used to be called white wine Worcestershire sauce, then they took it off the market, then they put it back on, and they called it Leah & Perrins chicken marinade. It is a white wine, basically. It's a Worcestershire sauce. And I found some recipes for Worcestershire sauce to make at home, so we're going to do that one day soon, because you know what? I really hate stuff in a jar, and I'm slowly getting further and further away from using anything. I'm just putting a little bit here. You can use a little soy sauce if you want. You can put in any flavor you like. You know, a little bit of mustard is good, you know. That's always a nice little touch if you want. It's not really Italian, but actually they use mustard in Italy too. So now I'm just going to mix all this beautiful stuff up together and just get in here. And don't use a spoon, really. Use your hands. So now what I'm gonna do, oh, that smells so good. Because I can, now that the cheese is mixing in and the breadcrumbs, smells yummy. And it's pretty. I love pretty food. So you can do the same thing with beef or turkey. Like I said, I do this often with turkey. Because turkey, it's so bland, you gotta add stuff to it to make it taste good. You can add hot pepper to it if you want. You can add some hot sauce if you want. But this is the base. I can tell if it needs salt. I'm not tasting it, but I can tell it needs salt by the amount of cheese I smell. So I'm just going to add some more cheese because the cheese wasn't real strong smelling. A splash of balsamic. This is a glaze. It's nice and thick. Add some sweetness to it. We're having fun here. And this is what I want to, you know, constantly remind you guys of. Yes, some of the things I have are hardcore, serious, specific recipes, but things like this are very experimental. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Or just, you know, what you've got. So, what I'm going to do right now, so I use this same stuff here 2 ways. You can make a burger out of it. So obviously we can take a nice big handful and make a nice, look at all the little flecks in there of the color. You've got the red onion, the orange and yellow carrots, the green from the zucchini and the parsley. It's so pretty. So we can make a nice big burger, and you can make a bunch of these. And what I do when I make burgers, sometimes I'll do is I'll put a few on a small tray like this. I could get like, you know, 4 or 6 of them, depending how big I make. Flash freeze them, and then put them in a Ziploc or something, or a freezer container, and keep them frozen, and you can pop one out at a time. They don't stick together. The other thing you can do, which is fun, which I'm going to show you here in a second. My hand, I don't want to touch the whole thing, and my hands are chickeny. But we're going to first, let's make one meatloaf. You can stick cubes of cheese inside the burger or inside the meatloaf. So I'm just going to make a meatloaf here. So I'm just going to put these big blobs in here until I can form it. Now, it used to be that I always made just 2. I used to use my big cookie sheet and you'd make 2 big meatloaves. One, we would eat usually 1 to 1.5 for dinner, and then the rest of it would get sliced up into sandwiches for lunch the next day. I used to make kind of 2 longer, skinnier ones that would seem to, for some reason, it seemed to stretch further. All right, so you can see here I have a nice big meatloaf. That's going to go in the oven in a second. And then I'm going to make some burgers to freeze. So I made 1 here already. So I'm going to freeze a couple of these. So now I got 5. Oops. There go the Crocs sticking on the floor. Put that on there. Can't even catch yourself when your hands are all wet. Wait, hold on, let me put this over here. So, you've seen me do everything. You've seen me flop things out of a pan. You've seen me trip. We're good. So anyway, so I was able, out of these 2 pounds of ground chicken, I was able to make 1 good-sized meatloaf that will probably serve, probably a good 5 people, depending what else you're making with dinner. And then I made 5 burgers that I'm going to freeze, and they're ready for when the kids come home and they just want to pop something on the, take it out, let it warm up, pop it on the stove. Now, you can also cook them ahead of time and freeze them, either way, depending on how you like it. Try it, cook a couple, and then, I could put these in the oven right now and then do the same thing, freeze them. Because baking them is, nice and easy, and since I've got the oven on already for this. So what I'm going to do with the meatloaf is I'm going to cover it for like the first 20 minutes or so, just so it gets kind of warm all the way through. And then, it probably takes, I don't know, depending on how big you make it, 30 to 40 minutes. If you make one of those big ones like people do, like that's like, the whole 2 pounds or 3 pounds, then I'd say, 45 minutes or more. But just keep an eye on it. Once you can tell, once it's all, brown on the top and all the little juices are oozing out the bottom, you can usually tell. And if you give a touch to it, if it's soft, because chicken and turkey, you want to make sure they're cooked all the way through. Beef, it's another story. You can make it medium or whatever, but just touch it. If it's still soft and pushes in, then that means it's still raw. So you just want to make sure it's nice and firm, and you can feel that with your finger, or you can feel it with a wooden spoon or whatever. So I'm going to throw this in the oven real quick. I'm going to throw these burgers in too. I'm going to freeze them cooked. and we're all set. So today I'm gonna stay short. You know, I started late, but I'm gonna leave you with this. But here's the scoop. Remember, I'm wearing my D today, you know, my D again. Got my fancy schmancy apron on. So the quote that I just recently saw, and I kind of added to it. I saw this quote and it started out, well, I'm going to read you the whole thing, or show you the whole thing. Tell me which line I added. Dress like Coco, live like Jackie, act like Audrey, be passionate like Sophia, and laugh like Lucy. Which one did I add? Yeah, it only had 4 before, but I added a 5th one because, you know, I gotta do it with passion. Passionate like Sophia. Because all us Italians, you know, we're passionate. But I have to say, aside from that one, laugh like Lucy. You know, today I'm going to challenge you and encourage you to find something to laugh at. Watch a funny show. Oh, go on my Facebook page and look at the old, I just posted it yesterday. It's 2 old people dancing to Hit the Road Jack. It is adorable, and of course you're gonna laugh. So if nothing else, go watch that because it was awesome. They're sitting there dancing, and I'm like, I love to dance. And I swear, sometime in the near future, we're gonna add some music to this show. I just gotta find music I can play without getting in trouble, you know, but I really feel like, you know, I love my music. And when I'm cooking, I always have music. I love my Italian music. Sometimes I'm belting out some opera, or I'm playing my 80s dance music and I'm dancing around the kitchen. So do whatever makes you happy, but today you gotta laugh. And then whatever you laughed at, bring it to the table tonight or today, whenever you're sitting at the table with the family or whoever you're eating with, and share what it was that made you laugh, because then it'll make you laugh again. It'll make them laugh, and laughter is so contagious. So today we're gonna laugh. So be passionate like Sophia while you're laughing like Lucy. And then dress up, dress for dinner, you know? Put on something. Don't go to dinner at your own table in your slippers and your sweatpants, okay? Put on a pair of pants, put your big girl panties on. You know, nobody's gonna see them at the dinner table, but anyway, get dressed. Always, always, always get dressed in the morning. You know, it doesn't have to be a ball gown, but get dressed so that if you have to answer the door or you have to make a quick trip out, you're ready to go. Yeah, I have my big fuzzy slippers I like to wear sometimes. And I do wear my Crocs, which I just tripped on, or my chef Crocs, but whatever it is, my chef clogs, but that's what's comfortable me wearing in the house all day. But if not, just keep another pair of shoes by the door, something that's easy to slip on, or if not, wear lace-up shoes so you're not slipping them off and you're ready to run out the door at any given time. Whether it's you see a neighbor outside, you want to go chat with them for a minute over the fence, or you want to say thank you as you open the door while the UPS guy's running off. I love opening the door after the UPS guy comes. He always rings my bell and then he goes, but I love opening the door and just yelling, thanks, Joe, you know? So you gotta find your reasons for connection, but find today your reason to laugh. So you know what you can do? Oh, this is perfect. After we're done here, you just rewind it and go watch me trip again, and you can laugh. So have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Enjoy the meatloaf. I'll post a picture of it later on, or maybe I'll come on live again for 2 minutes and show you the finished product. But I'm telling you, it's nice, it's juicy, it's tasty, and it's a full meal because you've got a little bit of breadcrumbs in there, so you got some carbs, you got your meat, you got your veggies, you're good to go. But I tell you what, it makes a great sandwich. Yum. All right, have a good one, and I will see you soon. Ciao.